Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a great afternoon. I'm sitting here in front of my medicinal herb garden and it's coming in beautifully. You can see the grapevines are starting to cover the chicken coop here and give them some really nice shade. My hollyhocks have just started to bloom, so it's going to be a really great year, and I'm really excited to see as everything sort of fills in here. But I wanted to talk to you really quickly tonight. Our oldest son plays soccer, so he had a soccer game in the next town over. And so we were driving there yesterday evening. It was still light out. And we're driving and we go by a few nice communities, a few just single family homes, just kind of placed on lots, not necessarily in HOAs. Some of these houses are on 10,000 square foot lots. Some of them are acre, 5 acre, 10 acre homes. Okay, so some of them can have some really good acreage. And as we're driving, I just decided to look around and kind of, peek into people's backyards and things. And I said to Nate, my goodness, where are all the gardens? Not one of these houses even had a small garden or just a single raised bed that I could see. And these houses are all either right on the road, or if they're set back a little ways, they have a good amount of property where you can kind of see what they've got going on. So it was very surprising to me that nobody had a garden that they were growing. I mean, this is prime time to have it in right now in South Carolina. So it's just very, very, I guess, concerning. Over time, we've gone from an agrarian society to our biggest concerns being, hey, I'm going to mow my front lawn, I'm going to trim the hedges on the front of the house, and we're going to get it looking nice. And I think that that's been one of the biggest deceptions in American culture, is the thought of growing a lawn and manicuring that and taking your time to make sure that that looks nice when it's not producing anything for you. I think over time we've been so deceived to say, you know what, if you want to be a higher class, or you want to be looked at as not poor and maybe elevated in society, these are the things that you need, right? You need a nice fancy car, you need a nice house, you need your lawn manicured, you need your nails done, you need your hair done, you need a nice purse, you want your husband to wear those Ralph Lauren polo shirts, and all of these things that sort of have a stigma attached to them, and a good stigma. You want people to look at you and say, wow, look at them, they've got it all together, right? And unfortunately, our society has really bought into that. My kids always say to me, hey mom, when are you going to get a new car? And my minivan is probably worth around $3,000. And the reason that I don't get a new car is because this one works perfectly fine. And I really don't care to impress somebody at a stoplight that I'll never see again in my life. I would rather just have a car without a car payment, pay my $16 a year in taxes at the DMV, because my car is so old, they only charge us $16, which is great. I would rather do that than have a nice, beautiful, shiny car, with great AC and everything that works, because there's a lot of things in the van that don't work, but you know what, it gets us from point A to point B, and that is all that matters. We have other things that we need to be investing in, and we are investing in our property, we're investing in the garden, we're investing in the livestock, we're investing in our children, and so those things are much more important to us than putting money into something like a vehicle that's just going to depreciate in value over time. But I think it's very easy to look at the deceptions over the years that people have bought into. For example, that pasteurized milk from the store is better than raw milk from a cow or from a goat. So, and in some states, it's even illegal to sell raw milk. Now, pasteurization kind of came in when the government stepped in and started taking over the dairy industry, and they needed a way to allow the milk to not spoil in transport. And so that's when they implemented pasteurization. And the American public have bought into, oh my gosh, I can't feed my kids raw milk. I can't drink raw milk. It might make me sick. And that's not the case. That is just not the case. Another thing is, I mean, look at this egg shortage. When we had that egg shortage, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a lot of talk about, don't go get backyard chickens. You're going to get salmonella from your eggs. It's not healthy. It's not safe. There's bacteria harmful, and it can harm you and your family. Well, I mean, is that the truth? I don't necessarily think so. We've been eating eggs from our own chickens for years now, and we haven't ever had one case of food poisoning from those eggs. No matter how much raw batter I may have eaten over the past 2 years, I have not gotten sick from it, and those have been my own eggs. But I just think it's kind of unfortunate how our culture has kind of taken these lies and just full on believed them and really bought into them. You know, no one cares about growing their own food. I mean, a lot of people don't. I know that when I go out, I never hear anything about inflation. I don't hear anything about the food shortages. And even in my own circle of people, the biggest concern that they have is, where are they going on vacation this summer? You know, no one still is recognizing what's happening, and it's really unfortunate. And with that too, if they did recognize what was happening, I don't feel like they would be equipped to take on what needs to be done. You know, when I go to certain things, certain events, you know, I see a lot of moms, and, you know, they all have these. I mean, this is not just a little tiny tip on your nail. These are long nails. I'm not sure how you even button or zipper your pants with those, but you certainly aren't down in the garden planting anything, because you would, one, ruin them, two, hurt yourself probably by ripping it off. You just wouldn't be very productive with those things. But anyways, my hope is that we will get back to what they consider a simpler way of life. Not that it is simple, but that people will go back to growing their own food, seeing the importance in it, seeing how much healthier it is, and not being so dependent on the grocery store or so dependent on the government for a check every month or for food stamps, because we see a lot of that out here. The majority of people out here are on government assistance for food. And it's really sad. I think that people would feel very empowered if they grew something, if they were able to harvest those tomatoes to put on their salad. Even just something small would really, really empower people. I don't know, it's just something to think about. It's kind of interesting. I'm sure you all see it too. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.